Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. I hope you're doing really well wherever or whenever in the world that you are. Today we're going to be talking all about my August reading plans. Just as an FYI, this is a new camera. I'm very excited, but sorry in advance if the lighting, the sound, all that jazz is not quite perfect. I'm still learning the camera, so yay. Without further ado, let's chat about books. As always, I like to do a quick recap from the month prior, so I want to quickly touch on my reading roulette status from July, and I didn't do great. I mean, there's still a few more days left of July, so all hope is not lost, but it's also not looking great for me. So my first reading roulette spin was a retelling, some kind of mythology or folklore based story that I had on my Kindle. Didn't pick anything up. I just couldn't get myself to read anything. And honestly, it's because I've been reading a different book on my Kindle and it's truly taken me the entire month of July. I just could not bear to pick up another Kindle book. So that means that this prompt is going in the lost prompts category on my reading roulette wheel moving forward. My next spin was a lost prompt spin, and I was choosing to read a fantasy TBR vet, aka Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in Stormlight Archive, and I didn't make any progress in this again because this one book that I'm reading on my Kindle has taken up way too much of my time. So what I've decided with that is I've added an additional fantasy TBR vet prompt in the lost prompts category bucket, if you will. So there's that. My next prompt was a science fiction that was a TBR veteran. For this, I have picked up Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, but I'm early on in my reading, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it by the end of July, but either way, I have begun, and that counts for me. It is good enough. My next spin was a horror book with a color word in the title. For this, I picked up The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavelle. I have read that. And then my final spin was a poetry featuring animals in some way, shape, or form. And for this, I decided to read The Raven, which is a poem, a very infamous poem by Edgar Allan Poe. And I did read / listen to that. Surprisingly interesting. Now, you'll have to stay tuned for my July reading wrap-up to hear more of my in-depth thoughts about those books, but there's at least my status with reading roulette. I didn't crush it. Only completed 2 out of 5, and I'm in the middle of one of them. It's not a good look. Not a good look. So we're gonna do better in August. It's a new month, a fresh start, so we're gonna manifest that. So moving right along into August, there are a few reading obligations that I have for the month. One of them is the book club that I'm in with my apartment building. We are reading The Women by Kristen Hanna. Originally, that book club was going to be held in July, but it's actually got moved to the end of August, which is great because I haven't picked up the book yet. So it's nice that I have a few more weeks to read it. For Broads Who Book, the book club that I'm in with my mom, my sisters, and some of our family friends, we are picking up next Interesting Facts About Science by Emily Austin. Also, that book club is meeting at the end of the month. I don't know anything about this book. The cover's kind of funky, so there we go. For the Buzzword Reading Challenge or Buzzword-a-thon, August, the buzzword is having like in the title, and I'm thinking about picking up 2 books for this. I either want to read Blood Like Magic by Liselle Sambury, which is a YA urban fantasy with some witches and maybe a romance. It's a duology, so I have mixed feelings about starting another series, but that's one book that I could pick up for that prompt. Or I might pick up Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. And this is a historical fiction novella that is set in Ireland. I've heard really good things about it, but haven't read that one either. I will be participating in a readathon in the month of August. I'm gonna be joining Deck of TBR-athon. It's hosted by Becca from Becca Books and Bujo and Chloe over at Always Booked. And I'm very excited. It's based off of Becca's TBR game that she uses, where different cards from a traditional deck corresponds with different reading prompts. And so I've got my reading journal all set up for that. I am on the black team because that's the mood reading side. So I don't think I'm gonna create any TBR lists for it at this moment, but I will be doing a reading vlog as I'm doing deck of TBR-athon. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. And yeah, love a reading vlog. They're always so fun. Alrighty, here we go. It's time for reading roulette, my favorite TBR game. I love it. I look forward to it every month. If you want to learn the general rules, I'll go ahead and put in the cards one of my earlier reading roulette videos where I explain it a little bit more. But today we're gonna jump right in. Our first pick, sometimes I forget to do all the screen recording things, so let's get that set up. Alrighty, here we go. Spin number one. What genre are we going for? I really would like some light, fluffy, easy reads. My brain is tired. Okay, great. You know what? This is perfect. I picked short story collection or essay collection. Great. Well, I don't have anything like set in my mind, so of course I'm gonna have to do a little research, but that's fine. Here we go. We're gonna be reading some kind of short story, essay, wait, what is it? Short story or essay collection. Now let's figure out what kind. Gosh, I have no preference here. I don't even know what to expect, really. Seasonal. Okay, it is summer-ish, sort of back to school season. Let me think. One short story collection that has me very interested. It's called The Way Spring Arrives and Other Stories. It looks like it's got a few editors. It looks like the genre is fantasy and science fiction. So I love that. That's one contender. Ooh, you know what? Another one that I've heard about and I haven't read, Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. I also feel like that could be a good one to pick up, although I think that might be a little hard to get through. Oh my God, I guess I could also pick up by Ellen Hilderbrand. Endless Summer is a short story collection, very much like romance chick lit. And I think these are like side stories from her fictional world. That could be light and fun and a little more summery. Oh my God, I'm also so silly. I recently downloaded the short story collection of rom-coms. I don't know, I'll put the cover like here. I've been meaning to read that. Okay, that's probably what I'll read, but there are other contenders which we love so that the mood reader and me can really embrace whether I'm wanting something a little more original and topical or if I'm wanting something a little light, fluffy, sweet, wholesome, maybe spicy. All right, second spin. What genre are we going for? Again, I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. I love that. I got a little nervous I was gonna get fanfic, which I've enjoyed a lot of the fan fiction that I've read. It's just harder for me to wrap my brain around like what I'm gonna read. Great, so we're gonna read a romance. What kind of romance are we gonna read? Let's see. Okay, truly the world is my oyster. Any miscellaneous word, I'm gonna read something fun. So I'm here for that. Holiday. Are there any July 4th romances? Probably not. I'll probably read like a Christmas romance. One very trendy book that I never read but has sort of been on my radar still is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I feel like that was popular maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but like I could read that. One that's on my TBR list already is 'Tis the Season for Revenge. I guess it's a series, you know, centered around the holidays by Morgan Elizabeth. Don't know anything about it. Well, let's look really quickly. I guess this is a little bit of a age gap romance. Seeking revenge against an ex. That could be fun. What else? I've never even heard of this one, but Mary Inkmas by Talia Hibbert. I truly love everything I've ever read by Talia Hibbert. So like that could be a winner. I don't even care what it's about. I did read a different holiday novella by Talia Hibbert. It's called Wrapped Up in You, I think, and I loved it. I think I gave it like 4 or 5 stars. Okay, that's like a good start. I know it's easiest for me to find a Christmas holiday romance, but if you can think of any for Memorial Day or Labor Day or July 4th or New Year's Eve, let me know in the comments, because maybe that, I don't know, just to give me some variety, I guess. Here we go, spin number 3. So far, this is looking potentially like a very romance-heavy month, which is my jam. Oh my goodness. Wow! Okay, you know what? This has never actually happened where I've gotten the same genre twice. You know what? The bookish reading roulette gods are really looking down on me because I've really been so slumpy all of July, and so this is great. I love this for me. Another romance. What could it be? What could it be? You know, I would love maybe a sequel or a TV adaptation thing. Ooh, Regency? Great. Let's do a historical romance. Amazing. I mean, oh, I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Oh, I'll totally pick up the new Kate Bateman book. Okay, I either want to pick up A Scandal in July by Kate Bateman. This is from her Ruthless Rival series. I think this just came out in July. July 1. Great. I will read this Kindle audio. I don't care. I'll probably read this, but the other, I think her other new release comes out also in July. No, maybe it comes, oh, it might come out in August. Sorry, I'm just rambling as I'm Googling. It does come out in August, although it says expected publication. How to Fall for a Scoundrel. So we'll see. Oh, is there a Regency element in A Scandal in July? Dang it, you know what? A Scandal in July may not have a character like that's a duke or a marquis or a lord or a prince. So, let's look up more popular Regency romance. You know what? I just watched My Lady Jane on, was it Hulu maybe? I could read that book. Might be fun to compare it to the TV show as well. Oh, you know what? I wonder if there's any more Eva Lee backlist stuff that maybe I could read. I recently read her Union of the Rake series and really enjoyed myself. Let's see if there's something else of hers I could read. I guess I could read The Good Girl's Guide to Rakes. That's the first book in her Last Chance Scoundrels series. That is a possibility. Okay, something I've had on my like TBR for quite some time is Yours Until Dawn by Teresa Medeiros. I think it's a Beauty and the Beast Regency historical romance retelling. I don't know too much more than that, but that could be a one to pick. All right, I could spend hours on this. So there's a few that I could pick up. TBD. You have to stick around to see what I read. Spin number 4. What if we get more romance? You know, I would love that for me. I would love that for me. Okay. But it could be nice to get some variation. I could read like something a little different. Or not. You know what? I have really manifested this and I'm not mad. Great. Fantasy romance. Truly, there's infinity that I want to read. So let's see what kind of fantasy romance we're adding to our TBR. Oh, this is fun. A reread? Okay, amazing. What do I want to reread? I feel like I want to pick something that I haven't read already this year. So like maybe let me go back to like 2021. What's something from there that I could reread? You know what's something I might like to go back and reread? So in 2022, I read Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, and I thought it was just okay. I ended up giving it 3 stars and I did not continue on in the series, but I am obsessed with this author's other series. Sorry, Francis is playing with my feet. I'm obsessed with this author's other series, the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and so part of me is like curious If I went back and reread Daughters of No Worlds, would I like it more? Would I like it less? Something to consider. You know what? I might also like to reread The Witch Collector. I haven't read the sequel and it's just been way too long, so I feel like I'd need to do a reread before I read, what's the sequel called? Yeah, I remember thinking The Witch Collector was just okay, but I've heard really good things about City of Ruin by Carissa Weeks. So maybe I could reread that, give it another try. You know what? I could also try again The Cruel Prince. I read the first book and I kind of hated it. Like, it fueled me with an all-American rage. I hated the FMC, but I'm also like, maybe I could try it again and go in with different expectations and maybe I would like it more. I don't know. I also feel like so many people like that series. I feel a little left out. Like, I want to know what all the hype is about. You know what else I could reread? Back in 2021, I read the Black Witch Chronicles by Lori Forrest, and I do think the next book, the 5th book, comes out next year. And again, it's been way too long since I read that series. I think I would have to do a reread. So like, do I reread the Black Witch series? I really liked this series. I think I gave almost all of the books 5 stars or 4.5 stars. I really liked it. Okay, so there are a few options. Great, I love this for me. I love this journey. Okay, here we go. Our 5th and final spin. Will we get more romance? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. It's not looking like it. Wow, okay, poetry. I've said this once, I'll say it again. I think I spin poetry every single month. I honestly may need to put that one on pause. There's just not that many poetry collections I'm interested in reading. Well, let's see, what kind of poetry are we gonna be reading? Ay. Okay, cool. BIPOC author, I love that option. I've definitely mentioned several collections that would fit this prompt in previous Reading Roulette games. Okay, I could also pick up Woman Eat Me Whole, a poetry collection by Ama Asantewa Dayaka. And it looks like this is a nonfiction memoir style poetry collection that talks about feminism, mental illness, what it means to move across different cultures. Could be very interesting. Sorry if you can hear Frances, she's playing in her box with her favorite little soccer ball. You know what, I've never read a full poetry collection by Amanda Gorman, so I could choose her poetry collection. I don't know if Call Us What We Carry is just the poem or if that's the title of her whole collection, but I could pick that up. Yeah, those are the few, like, in my brief preliminary research that are standing out to me. I don't know what I'm gonna read. The poetry collections are much more of a mood reader pick. It's one that can change on a dime depending on how I'm feeling and what I'm craving, but I'm looking forward to this pick. Here's the rundown of all of our Reading Roulette picks for August. I'm feeling pretty confident, pretty thrilled, and utterly delighted by the selection that I've got. My first spin was a short story collection or essay collection that's seasonal in some way, shape, or form, whether that's related to summer or going back to school, something like that. I think I'm gonna end up picking up the short story collection. It's called The Improbable Meet Cute, and it has a collection of romance authors, so I'll probably pick that up. It's already downloaded on my Audible, so if I know me, that's probably what's gonna get read, but you never know, you never know. My second spin was a romance that is about a holiday. I think in my search, the most common holiday that's coming up is Christmas, but if you have any suggestions for holidays outside of that, please let me know. I'll probably pick up I think there was another like Christmas novella by Talia Hibbert, but I'm really open to recommendations. I don't have very many of those on my TBR on Goodreads, so any help would be greatly appreciated. My third spin was a romance again. This one was Regency, so I'll obviously pick up some kind of historical romance, probably something from Lisa Kleypas, Eva Lee, or Kate Bateman. We shall see. My fourth spin was a fantasy romance that's a reread. For this, I don't know what I'm gonna reread. You know, the ones that I've already reread several times this year would be the Mages of the Wheel series or the Bridge Kingdom series. Like, those are very comfortable reads for me at this point. But I was kind of wanting to do something that I haven't read recently. So I may do a Cruel Prince reread, or I might reread the Black Witch Chronicles. Try that series again, because the 5th book comes out next year, I think. And then finally, my 5th reading roulette spin was a poetry collection by a BIPOC author. I have no idea what I'm gonna pick up for this. There's lots of good options out there, and we'll have to see. I feel like I've been filming for 100 years, but that's that. I'm really excited for this August. I have really struggled with my reading in July, as I've mentioned a gazillion times already, because of this one book that I'm reading on my Kindle that's putting me in a bad mood. Not that it's putting me in a bad mood, it's just not feeling easy breezy beautiful cover girl, you know? So I'm really looking forward to picking up some books that are in my comfort zone, things that will hopefully help me get out of this reading slump. I'm really looking forward to deck of TBR-athon. I think that's gonna be so much fun. As I mentioned before, stay tuned for that reading vlog. Let me know what you're planning on picking up for August, or if there's any other readathons that you're participating in. I'd love to hear. Alrighty, yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye.